Let's dive into strong versus weak, and we're going to focus on acids. So some of the acids you should be able to recall by now are going to pick a strong acid and a weak acid, and I'm going to pick hydrochloric acid as my strong acid. And as my weak acid, I have chosen ethanoic acid. So what is the difference between a strong acid and a weak acid? And we will also have a look at the definition. Each of these are dissolved in water. They dissociate into its ions. It's into hydrogen ion or a proton and chloride ion. And your ethanoic acid dissociates into the hydrogen ion. That is what is associated with this being classed as an acid. And whatever is remaining as your minus ion, this is known as the ethanoate ion. How can I know the charge on this ion? Well, I only have one hydrogen ion, and the remainder of this ion is also just one lot of this. And overall, this compound is neutral. So if I know that the charge on a hydrogen ion is a positive charge, therefore the charge on this whole ion is going to be a one negative charge to balance out the one positive charge. The difference between a strong acid and a weak acid is that a strong acid fully dissociates into its ions, whereas a weak acid only partially dissociates into its ion. Recall that your hydrogen ions is associated with something being an acid. So if a strong acid fully dissociates, that means all of the HCl molecules present, they break apart and dissociate into a lot of H plus ions. Therefore, I'm going to have a lot of this present. This acid is going to be very, very, very strong. Whereas for a weak acid, only some of the ethanoic acid molecules break apart into its ions. So the concentration of this is going to be quite small. Therefore, a weak acid. So actually, I could change the arrows to something that look like this. I'm going to have some of the hydrogen ions present, but I'm also going to have a lot of the ethanoic acid present as well. So weak acid only partially dissociates into its ions. What effect will this have on the pH value? Well, if something is a strong acid, it's going to have a very low pH. So maybe 1 or even 2. And if something is a weaker acid, therefore it's going to have a higher pH, so something along the lines of 5 or 6.